Rhapsody. Torturer. Magnus.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We got game number 2 coming at you here. Team Excellent versus The Last of Us. Of course, The Last of Us, as you see on your screen, up 1-0 after a solid game 1 victory. So, joined by Mini Maggot once again as my co-caster. Welcome back. We got
Hello.
Already at the next tier bands once again, moving along pretty quickly here. This drafting stage, but we see a Slither coming out here on Team Excellent. There we go with the team fight. Ophelia, Slither, Torture, a strong start.
Yeah, I think Pew sort of decided to try something different. I mean, like the draft from last game is a little bit sort of a little bit strange. Maybe perhaps he just didn't maybe execute the game plan he wanted. But I think with this draft, I think he's going to look for like an early push. He's already got the Ophelia and the Torturer, but the Slither as well. So maybe I'm assuming potentially like the Slither short lane, Ophelia in the jungle, and perhaps a dual mid, something that really Super KG can excel at. And get an advantage in the early game, which is something actually similar to what BMG used to run in the early sort of stages of Hontor. On the Legion side, they got like sort of similar picks from the last game. Rhapsody really has been sort of shining out actually recently in the meta. No wonder why though. That ultimate is really a game changer. It's almost like a Tempest ultimate, but like opposite. Almost like like a defensive Tempest ultimate. It can really change games. All that just on a support player or a support hero. Sorry, is the reason why she's picked up so early.
Yeah.
I remember like when Engineer was sort of that kind of god pick, and it's the same with Rhapsody at the moment.
Yep, her and Torture are really those top 2 supports, obviously, at this time. So. Bans coming out once again. You see a couple of interesting bans there, specifically the Berserker. Again, no Diglett here, but still a hero that clearly they just don't want to have to deal with. Swiftblade also banned out by Pew. Keeper, Pharaoh, and Gauntlet coming out from Ice-T, and then Moon Queen. Actually, that final ban coming out, so takes some hard carry threat.
I like the bans coming out from Ice-T though. I think he's sort of cottoned on to the fact that Pew might be running some kind of sort of cheese early push strat, so he's picked out the heroes that really work quite well in the early push strat, like the Pharaoh for the Suicide and Gauntlet for the mid. Although Devoure's still on the board though, so Super KG might be wanting that hero.
The right-clicking Balfagor, man. I mean,
Oh, no.
Here we go.
I thought it was going to be like an early push. I didn't think it was going to be all in like a push like this. So, also, the Pyromancer isn't the strongest. Sort of, I mean, it can counter push quite easily, but it obviously doesn't have the range. So if he's going to be trying to sort of counter push, he can be quite easily sort of caught out by this Hellborn team if he pushes up too far out to sort of counter push this wave.
Yeah. So what do you final pick here? Last of Us.
The only problem here is that they kind of need like a carry player, because like all push, going all out push is quite good, but it does get countered. Sorry, it's not too bad actually. It does offer some counter push and still that late game as well. Plague Rider though. It's not too bad. Like, it does offer a lot of team fight, but obviously a little bit maybe counter synergy. But it shouldn't be the biggest of factors. The ultimate is definitely why it's been picked up here. Obviously they needed a Suicide as well.
Yeah, I'm just happy to say Plague once again.
Yeah.
Plague Rider ultimate. So wow, I mean, yeah, Team Excellent going a little different here with that final pick, but again, very push heavy.
Yeah, it's understandable. I think it's like if they lose this game, don't they? Like, are they like relegated?
If they lose this game, then yeah, I believe you're right.
So understandable. It's going sort of all out. Just trying something crazy, like, and it definitely has the possibility. I mean, a lot of teams are sort of caught off by these sort of all-in strats, particularly if the other team isn't sort of prepared for it. It just depends how well sort of Team Excellent have really sort of prepared this, because it's all fine going out for this cheese kind of strat, but if you haven't really practiced it, it doesn't really work as well as, say, if falling back onto a normal strategy that you normally would go for.
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of wonder if that's in the case or not. Probably not, but yeah. And again, I hate to say it, also, unfortunately, but the more I'm looking at the standings, actually, no matter what happens, actually, at this point, I believe Team Excellent is knocked out, because where they're at with the points, even if they win the next 2 games, that would only give them 2 points, and they would still be behind Rexars at that point. So, yeah, Team xCet, I wonder if they're obviously under that line of, you know, knowing that as well, so kind of just going all in push. At the same time, though, they're playing to prevent The Last of Us from moving on, so there still is a purpose, definitely in this game.
But with this kind of like all-in push strat, I'd really like to see The Last of Us sort of take or sort of not end the game early, but in the sense that you want to sort of cut out this early pressure sort of snowball at the source. Like, I'd like to see maybe perhaps even aggressive try lane to sort of make sure and slow down the push, because with these sort of big pushing lineups, if they get a few towers down, it's really hard to sort of stop them. So I think you need to sort of cut out the sort of at the source and sort of stop any snowballing from occurring. So yeah, I think a try lane could definitely work like that. They've got the potential heroes. They've got the Revelwards and the wards, so they might be trying to block the Ophelia jungle, and they might even dual lane or tri lane up here. They definitely could with the Rhapsody, Pyro, and the Magnus.
Yeah, what do you think about the Soul Reaper final pick, though? I mean, again, it's kind of one of those cases that didn't we see this yesterday? We mentioned that in the same matchup. The Last of Us as well.
But in the end, the Soul Reaper did work quite well. Even though it didn't have like the greatest of synergy with the heroes, like Soul Reaper is one of those heroes that it's going to definitely win its lane. And if that's the reason why you pick up the hero, it's a fine pickup in itself. Like it's going to offer quite a lot of sort of team presence with the survivability, but it's probably going to be the hardest carry in this game. Although not very hard carry in itself, there's not a lot of other carries in this game. Torch might get picked off actually.
Oh yeah, that's an easy kill. Q, a little mind lapse right there perhaps, but he just kind of went tunnel vision. And he easily gets killed.
He just disconnected.
I'm pretty sure that's a fake rage quit.
Yeah, he's come back. But no, it definitely can be like that though. When you're not 100% focusing on the game, like you can easily sort of just forget about things. I know I do it sometimes. Or like if you're talking about strategy to your team, like you're saying, oh, this is what we're going to do. Like you're not really 100% focusing on your hero. And that's the problem of being like a leader and a captain. You've got to focus on a lot of things at once. And if you sort of have a mind lapse, little states can happen, and it's quite a big sort of deficit they're already in right now. I said I want The Last of Us to sort of cut or sort of stop the early snowball, and getting the early bloodlust is obviously going to be a big factor in this game actually. Yeah,
and I kind of wonder, are we going to see maybe an early bottle here on Soul Reaper? He's the one that got that kill, and he has one more creep kill. He'll have enough gold for that bottle even if he wants to go that route. Being the middle lane here, in fact, so
we do see Ophelia rotating into the enemy jungle. I'd like to see Fine actually put some pressure onto the other lane, because obviously they're quite far down, and with this kind of lineup, they need to get ahead early to allow the pushes to have an effect and to snowball.
Yeah.
The only problem though is like with this sort of cheese lineup, there's not a lot of sort of safe and reliable thing. Like ganking with a Balthagor, like, it's not the easiest thing to do.
No.
And ganking a Bubbles bottom lane is going to be hard. So this Ophelia is not. She's trying for a gank middle, but I don't know how successful it's going to be. Like Balthagor doesn't offer all that much. Ophelia is coming in though.
Yeah, going to be coming with the flank. Soul Reaper, you got to wonder, you got to almost think about that. But yeah, MyZebro kind of getting television himself, pushing up, but he might still be fine. Torture could not get there in time. The auto attack to follow, but he got the bottle just delivered. And that's going to help keep him alive, if anything. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Oh, he does get the courier though.
All right.
Not too bad.
Something.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, it's kind of hard to gank with the heroes they've got, which is obviously a problem. But as long as they can maybe get ahead a little bit, get a few towers, and like this team is definitely very, very scary.
Yeah. So Soul Reaper does survive, and obviously Ophelia back into the jungle she goes. But now if you're the Legion team, obviously you're 100% aware that that's where she is. So Rhapsody is going back to the well currently, most likely to buy a new courier for the team. And I wonder if we're going to make an adjustment. I mean, could you see the Rhapsody maybe going middle lane here and playing a harassment with Ophelia?
It wouldn't be like the most sort of effective, but I think there's no need to have a Tron in top. I mean, they're shutting down the Sliver anyway, just with two. So she could definitely rotate middle. Like, it's not the bestest of dual lanes, but it's going to be better than sort of going top. So yeah, I think going middle definitely work. But they make sure to shut out Balthagor, and Torture's rotating mid as well. So I think that the dual lane actually, I think the dual lane for Legion is going to be a little bit stronger just because of the dual range lane.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of hook presence coming out from the Balthagor, obviously.
Let's see.
Although Ophelia is here though. Like if Tundra stays middle, they can definitely get a kill on the Soul Reaper. He was just a little bit late in the first gank, if you saw, and that's why Soul Reaper was able to get away in the end. Tundra's rotating bottom, but like this Bubbles is quite low HP, so they might be able to get a kill. But like even ganking with a Plague Load against a Bubbles is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But he's coming in.
Contagious, a good amount of damage here. Looking at 200 magic damage right now at level 2, and yeah, they're going to go in for the flank. Ophelia, no minion with her, but might not need one. Chain reaction's not happening just yet. No, the chain reactions take cover, dodges it. He had the autocast most likely.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the problem. Like all the sort of ganks and the rotations coming out from Hellborn is the right play to make, but with the heroes they've got, it's just really hard to make the plays they're trying to make, if that makes any sense. And as a result, like all these ganks are failing, and they're getting further and further behind till this wasted time. As your top lane, Sliver might be in trouble. Yeah, I think he's most likely dead. Rhapsody coming in.
Level 1 Rhapsody. You see the ward actually going to spot her though, so
yeah.
Never
that
mind.
was well played.
Yeah.
I think if he wasn't spotted there, he would have definitely been dead. So well played coming out from Marcus. Actually, he's playing safe. Like he's obviously against sort of a dual lane / a tri lane. So as long as he doesn't die and gets what he can, this Hellborn team does have a lot of team fight actually, which is definitely something that's sort of saving grace in this game at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with what their makeup consists of. I mean, Balfagor, although is definitely losing the lane, 17-2 compared to Soul Reaper's 23-4. So Super KG actually getting a respectable farm himself in the end here, and obviously hasn't died by any means. In fact, going to get a regen rune, which was covered by Torture in the meantime. So some good teamwork right there coming out. I assume the top lane, though, free farming Magnus for the most part. Yeah, 27-7 here for Fuzzy Sloth. He's having a great time up there.
Yeah, and that'll be a big pickup. If you can get like an early portal key and just get a few pickups, especially when it comes to the team fight. Like if they're all grouped up, the Hellborn, if they're all grouped up because they're sort of pushing, like a big lava surge and eruption can be. Oh, bottom lane actually.
God, this guy knows how to use this take cover, man. I mean, he just dodged the Minotaur stun perfectly right there, in between all that damage coming out. So that was not autocast. That was just presence of mind, man. And he shell surfs away. So he escapes now, though. That's 2 gank attempts that easily could have been kills in a lot of players. So not for Beaverbanger.
Oh, middle lane actually. Balfagor might be in trouble. No, Rhapsody's coming over. So doesn't have any mana. But yeah, with these kind of hero pickups, there's not going to be a lot of action just because there's not a lot of sort of potential for ganks to happen. Obviously, the Magnus and Bubbles are definitely heroes that can sort of make ganks happen, but it's the Magnus that is getting the sort of priority farm, and Bubbles is staying bottom, just sort of static farming, and ganking with a Soul Reaper is not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
As well as so I think it will more likely come down to sort of CS score and how sort of they're laning it. And on the most part, Legion are doing quite well, but they're behind on XP. But I think that just goes back to the jungle factor in Ophelia. So.
Oh yeah, you know, you look at, and also Plague Rider. I mean, he's also a very strong suicide, and we don't see this hero anymore nowadays in the competitive scene. But it's a reason why he did have his presence in the suicide role. When it came down to it, yes, he doesn't have the greatest escape, but he can keep that lane control with that extinguish, of course.
Yeah, and playing 1v1 against like a sort of playmaker like Bowles is perfect. Like, he's obviously not going to be really easily ganked because he's only in the 1v1 setup, and there's sort of a tri lane sort of top and stuff. Oh, middle lane, Soul Reaper is in Viz, but I don't think they're going to be able to get this kill.
No.
But yeah, like he's really dominating this lane. Like this Bubble was 125 GPM, and there's not much he could really do. Actually, top lane actually. Yeah,
this Magnus right here. He does have a lava surge. He's going to go in on his Slither. He wants to kill, damn it, and he's going to get the kill. But at what cost here? In comes a poison burst right before the death. So can Fuzzy Sloth actually get away from this? Chain reactions completely whiffed from Pew. Remember, that's not lethal. So, or the poison spray is on him still. Oh, 7 seconds.
This Fuzzy Sloth like is playing really well. Like, I mean, like, from the last game as well, like he's really manning up. He's really impressing me. Like he's doing things like he should not be doing, really, getting away from things and just playing really well. And it's really giving the lead to the last ones when they should really be ahead actually. So it just comes down to good individual play.
That was
Sliver. Yeah. Sliver might be in trouble here, actually. They might be ganking him with the torture.
I want to, but of course he's doing a good job of using those toxin wards, if anything, and keeping the fact right there. There you go. He's like, I know you're there. So No gank attempt to be had. Super KG making a comment in chat before that happened about this mid lane and being fun. Yeah, he's having a tough. Again, he's 25-3. He's managing some okay creep farm, but yeah, 47-10 Soul Reaper. So Sable's having a much better time. And actually, okay, if he gets another heal off here, Balfgor might be in trouble. Spawns the minions though. Oh, he's out of range now.
But Ophelia is level 5 right now, and if there is going to be a rotation or any gank presence, it's going to come from this Ophelia. If she can get some good creeps like a Skeleton King or a Minotaur, the squishy supports like Pyromancer and Rapset are going to be really, really easy kills for this help on side. It's just she's getting a little bit unlucky. There's a Skeleton King actually here on the right side. Hopefully she might be able to get something done with that. Middle lane.
Yep, there's the kill on a Balfagor. Demonic Execution comes out, and down goes Balfagor.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like Soul Reaper, not obviously the greatest of heroes in this draft, but he's working really, really well. And the end of middle lane torch is going to be falling as well.
He doesn't have a chance.
But yeah, I think Last Us really do like this Soul Reaper perk, and it's really working out. Like they're laning, like the presence just of the laner itself is working out really well. And if they need to just get like an early lead from laning presence, it's working fine for the draft. So. Yeah. It's a fine draft, really. As long as it's working for them. I've always been like a person that says like there's no such thing as like a good draft. A good draft sort of has to have like a good game strategy and a good sort of execution plan for it to work well. And they're clearly working and doing exactly what they wanted to do. So it's working fine for the draft, really.
Yes, they are. So 9 minutes into this game right now. You got, again, they're in a comfortable spot. Again, Fuzzy Sloth putting the Magus up there, 350 gold per minute, but more importantly, MySu Bro on Soul Reaper, 460 GPM. And yeah, again, the way this team drafted here on Team X, so this was a Olin-ish kind of, Balfagor just in general really promotes that Olin-ish kind of push strategy. So, yeah, you got to wonder when that timing is going to start happening. I mean, you see Ophelia here with the Vulture Skeleton King kind of charging in, but not much that's going to do right now. So maybe they're going to push middle, actually. You got Plague Rider off to the side.
Yeah, and they do have so much push right now. Like, these towers are going to drop. Like, Bubbles has done the right rotation. Like, coming in trying to slow down the push. But, I mean, like, he's got run out of mana. He's got to come back. Actually, this is like a flank coming in from behind them, actually. Magnus and Pyromancer are here.
Is he going to ulti? No, he's not going to. I thought he might have channeled that ulti. But actually, Slither's going to spot them with the wards right here. Poison Spray comes out. Pyromancer's most likely. Yeah, he's going to definitely fall there. And you see Magnus, he just escapes with the Lava Surge, so at least it distracted them, I guess. But
yeah, and that's like a really big kill, though. Like, getting like a little advantage for this help on seed is all they need to really get the towers. So, like, that pickup is actually quite big. So I think this tier 1's going to drop so fast, I don't think the Legion are going to really have anything sort of stop them. They're slowing down with the Soul Reaper, but I think this tower's definitely going to be falling.
Yeah. Obviously, I guess a team like this, you're going to have to concede some towers. I mean... well, never mind. In comes the Kelfield. They want to fight this. Apparently, at least Bubbles does. There's the Hell on Newerth coming out, though, but not really a whole lot of follow-up in the end, so...
Yeah, I do like what the Last of Us are doing. They're making sure not to give the Hellborn any kind of lead from these towers, and I think it's the right play to make, because I said before that if the Hellborn side do get a few towers like early on, they can really snowball out of control, and make sure not to give them any sort of room to snowball is the right play. And although, like, you know, Bubbles only 150 GPM, and some experienced teams might be like, oh, let's try and get some fire on the Bubbles, try and get Portkey before we initiate or engage, but that's not the thing they need to do. And like Soul Reaper is quite farmed already, and I don't think Hellborn really have the items they need sort of to win a team fight, and that's why they need the towers. But Legion are obviously doing the right thing and making sure not to give up any towers possible. They've got quite a lot of sort of like counter push with Bubbles as well as Soul Reaper, spamming that judgment. So. Really.
See here, Soul Reaper taking some nuke damage.
Magnus picking up his portal key, actually. That's going to be a big pickup.
Yeah, again, here comes the group up, though. So take two here from Team Excellent. Going to go for it. They don't have Hell on Newerth, remember. It's actually how much longer? 47 more seconds on that. So this tower, though, again, once they all get in there. Disco Inferno's put down a lot of damage. They clean it up. Now, deny attempt, but no. Fine gets credit for it. Plague Rider's chasing. He has that Plague Goo. Not going to use it, though. So they get the tower kill that they're looking for, at least. But Bubble's going to counter push bottom.
It did take a lot of time, and all the while we had Beaverbanger sort of on the bottom lane farming it up, trying to sort of counter push. And as a result, actually, the Legion side are the ones actually in the gold and experience lead, actually, all because of Hellborn sort of being forced to sort of group up as 5. Actually, Balfagor might be in trouble, actually.
Well, the whole team, I mean, he's got some backup. He's going to go in himself. But, yeah, he does need to be careful. Magma stunts in right there. There's a follow-up from Pyromancer. Demonic Execution. Eruption being channeled in the background. He goes in right on top of all four right there. Full Eruption right on top. Plague, who has not been used just yet by Plague Glider. He may fall before. Yes, he does. He couldn't get it off in time. Torture goes down. Ophelia gets caught as well. She will fall. And Slither has to walk away. You lose a fight like that as a team that the Excellent has.
Exactly.
Your chances go downhill.
Really looking bad. Like with a team like that, like Excellent have, they really needed to get out ahead, and Pew just whining. I don't know if he's on your ignore list or something, but
oh yeah, no, he's been on ignore still.
He's just whining, as is usual. But no, I just think Last of Us actually played this really, really well. They knew exactly what they had to do, and they executed it perfectly. Really sort of making sure Hellbourne did not get any advantage, sort of shutting it out. And just sort of manning up, and they just played really, really well, and they've sort of deserved the first game. And this game isn't technically over, but like I've said before, going behind on like an all-in sort of cheese straight is definitely hard to come back from.
Yeah, again, you could tell that.
Bottom lane.
Oh yeah, Plague Rider ultimate is going to bounce back and forth and eventually take out Pyromancer there, so well played by Masera. Playing the Plague Rider at least, but you look at the build on Sorry, by the way, he didn't go the Astrolabe, the Graveluck, just a lot of build up, really beefy hero for especially going into the it's really an early game, heading into the mid game sooner than later, but
yeah,
no, he just got full shamans there.
Yeah, you just in these kind of items, you just want to get as much sort of team fight and early presence as you can, because they do the Legion do not have sort of capability to sort of get greedy and go for sort of items like, you know, the light brand or the Grimmer, because it's the mid game and early game that they're going to either win or lose this game. So just picking up any item that is going to help them in the early game. Actually, top lane, Bubbles one.
Ah, there we go. They find Ophelia. A lot of minions are here, but the hero is the one that's important, of course, and it gets taken. You see the volcanic touch, the power of it with all these minions. He actually kills them all with the assistance of Bubbles. So what was many is now none for the Hellbourne team right there. So just another find, and they're going to probably just push this top lane in now, as you are seeing GG's being called. 15 minutes is approaching, and yeah, that's probably going to do it. So there you go, The Last of Us. They do take game number 2, and that means they sweep the series 2-0. Or was it? I thought I followed through. Anyways,
so did I.
it's clearly over. That's what matters.
What
just happened there? That was all the way in the well. All right, there we go. Anyways, the point being again, so 2-0 for The Last of Us right there. They take it over Team Excellent, and that means, well, that means a couple things. Once again, officially, Team Excellent is now going to be knocked out, or they're going to finish in that 5th, 6th place spot. So they'll be set up to play a relegation match. Now, as we talked about the last series, unfortunately, they might not be moving on to the next season. They might be disbanding. I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see, obviously, how that plays out. But the main point is that they're not making the playoffs here for this first cycle. As far as The Last of Us is concerned, they are still in it. In fact, it's going to come down to a final match. How about that? It's going to be Rexars versus The Last of Us. And the winner of that basically moves on. They're going to the playoffs.
Yeah. That's going to be perfect. I really like sort of competitions and tournaments that have the fate in your own hands, because that way, like, if you lose, your own fault. Like, if you win, obviously, you deserve it, etc., etc. So that's going to be a really tense game, and I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that next match. Yeah,
and that with that said, obviously that is not going to happen today, but it is going to be happening, or it's set to happen at least tomorrow, from my understanding. Let me double check on the information on that real quickly. Let's see right here as I update the standings for you guys. So there you go. Those are the updated standings. So as you can see, again, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd figured out. We need that 4th place spot. The winner goes to the playoffs. The loser, they'll have to play in a relegation match to stay alive going to the 2nd cycle. But it's scheduled for, it looks like, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2100 Central European time tomorrow is when it's going to be happening. Now, as far as the coverage is for that is concerned, there will be coverage. There definitely will be coverage, of course. I can't guarantee that it will be on Honcast. I just because of with it being tomorrow, the reschedule and everything, something may come up, but we'll see. I'll do my best to be able to cover it. If not, though, make sure that it will get covered. But 3 p.m. Eastern, 2100 Central European time, Rexars versus The Last of Us. That match to determine, again, which team moves on to the playoffs and which team will have to place in the relegation. So it's kind of cool that it shaped up that way in the end. But I will say this. You know, we had a podcast going into this event kind of predicting who we thought was going to win it all even. And I decided to go on a limb and said Team Excellent. Well, might have been a bad pick, you think. Yeah, it didn't work out so well. But, hey, they gave it a valiant effort, but clearly not working out for them in the end. So, anyways, Mini Maggot, appreciate it once again, as always. Not the longest cast here, but...
Thanks for having me. I really enjoy sort of casting and love doing it with you, Break. You always make it fun.
Yeah. Appreciate your help, and best of luck to you. And are you guys, you got one more event, or you play already?
Yeah, we're playing in the Invitational, I think. Is it next week?
That's right, yeah. I think it is next week, yeah.
So that should be a good game. Hopefully we don't sort of fail, but we're having a few sort of roster changes at the moment, but hopefully finalise our 5-man roster and make it through to Pro League, hopefully, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, no, that'd be fun to see how you guys do. Instant Reflex is your team name, right?
Yeah, shout out to Instant Reflex.
There you go. Shout out to those guys. Looking forward to seeing how you guys do. But with that said, any final shout-outs to yourself? Anything you want to say here?
Just shout out to Instant Reflex and Akame, sort of standard. But other than that, thanks for having me. Again, Breaky, it was really good fun. I look to do more casts if you'll have me, I guess. Of course. Again, I wouldn't be surprised. It's definitely not the last time, so... all right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, appreciate tuning in again. It really, especially, overall, pretty good day, especially that first game we kicked it off with, BMG versus CiC. Again, check that out here on the Twitch VOD soon after, and eventually on the YouTube VODs if you missed it, because that's one of the better Han matches we've had in a long time for sure. But with that said, the Carnage of our Pro League again, we are coming down to the very end here. In fact, one more match like we talked about tomorrow. Like I said, I can't just keep updated the social media. I'll do my best to let you guys know officially who's going to be covering it. But 3 p.m. Eastern, 2100 Central European Time is what's going on tomorrow. You do not want to miss that. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we'll see you. Have a good night. Carnage of Pro League wrapping up for today. We'll see you next time.